It's a little disturbing for me to discover that cancel culture, which we think of as a largely American phenomenon, is now a worldwide phenomenon. It's even reached the sport of cricket. Now, I don't know if you know about cricket. It's a sport played in England and India and in, by and large, all the former colonies of the British Empire. And it's a little like baseball, the general concept of cricket. Many Americans just don't like cricket because it's sort of too much like baseball. It's kind of it's seen as a kind of peculiar mutant of baseball. But cricket is actually extremely popular in these countries where it's played. One Indian once commented that he was grateful to the British Empire for two things, tea and cricket. Now, turns out the British Empire brought a lot more to India than tea and cricket. It brought democracy, it brought courts of law, it brought human rights, it abolished all kinds of social evils, including the rather charming Indian custom when a man died, his wife's life was considered to be so useless that she was thrown burning alive onto the pyre, the cremation pyre of her husband. Wow. The British happily put a stop to that. They also, by the way, brought us the English language. And you got so many Indian writers now around the world writing in English. Well, we got that too from the British. I grew up on cricket. I think like a lot of young Indian kids, I thought, when I was young, I'd love to be a professional cricketer, but I wasn't alone in this. Every Indian kind of thinks this. And I remember as a kid, a bunch of us there was only one person in our street who had a TV. It was a small black and white TV, ridiculously tiny and kind of grainy. But there were about 20 of us young kids. We would all bunch into a single room and huddle to watch the cricket games on TV. Well, I recently picked up a copy of The Guardian, and I see that a cricket player from England, Ollie Robinson, is now been put into a sort of psychological counseling because of tweets that the guy did as a teenager. His team, which is the Sussex team, basically is looking into the matter. The English Cricket Board is looking into the matter. They've given him a leave of absence. They say his tweets were, quote, completely unacceptable. And then here's the kind of pomposity, quote, he has made clear the shame, the embarrassment, and the remorse he feels for the discriminatory comments that he made. Apparently, the English Cricket Board is even looking into questionable social media posts by other cricket players. I'm thinking to myself, what did this guy even say? We're talking about something he said as a teenager, and so I kind of have to search for these offending tweets, and I look at them and I'm like, what? This is it? So let me read some of these tweets. They're supposed to be horrible, insensitive. So here we go. He's making a tweet. This is apparently his Islamophobic tweet. He goes, my new Muslim friend is the bomb. He's obviously trying to be funny. My new Muslim friend is the bomb. This is the tweet. Oh, horrific, awful. Here's another one. He's talking about women. This is a supposedly anti-woman tweet. He goes, not going to lie, a lot of girls need to learn the art of class. And then hashtag get some. So, big deal. And then here's this quote about Asian Americans, showing that he's an all-round bigot. He goes, I wonder if Asian people put smileys like this, and then he's got the little smiley with the two dashes and the smile. I guess the idea being that we're talking here about the Asian eye. Again, gee, really, I'm not offended. You might say, well, Dinesh, wait a minute. These tweets are a little insensitive. So, insensitive is not the same thing as racist. By the way, racist has a definition. Racism is the idea that people who belong to another race are intrinsically inferior. Anything that departs from that is not racism. There's no other definition of racism other than that. And so if you say things like, well, I don't like people who are Asian Indians, that's kind of not a very nice thing to say, but it's not racist. If you say I would never marry someone who's Chinese, that may reflect poor taste on your part, but it's not racist. And so what I'm getting at here is that you have people here who haven't even defined their terms, and they go after some guy who's really good at, in cricket, you're either a good bowler or you're a good batsman. They're going after these cricketers because working class guys, by the way, for things they said when they were like 12 or 13, when they were kids. This is absolutely ludicrous. I want to actually argue that insensitivity of this sort is very healthy in a free society. Why? Because it gets things out. It puts them in the open. It questions taboos. A little bit of insensitivity shows that a society is able to talk freely and honestly about how it feels, engage these feelings in public space where they are allowed to be aired. And so there's not only a free speech defense of insensitivity, but the argument that the insensitivity itself is a kind of venting that prevents people from concealing their emotions, where they begin to sort of fester inside and then express themselves in other more harmful ways. It's too bad to see that even cricket, is now infected with cancel culture. It shows that this is a disease that is spreading worldwide, its own kind of ideological pandemic.